This One's Wife, Booed and Battered. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Another example of how this one's wife's narcissism means she will never succeed. Her narcissism, when she awakes in the morning, immediately gears up to ensure that she seeks out fuel, that whoever she comes across, she must control, that there is the possibility of acquiring character traits and residual benefits. That is all that her narcissism focuses upon. Not being kind, not being constructive, but the relentless pursuit of one or more of the prime aims each and every day. Accordingly, the other day, in order to attain those prime aims, her narcissism compelled her to attend the baseball game. Her narcissism is the engine within her, compelling her to seek out these things. It means she can't just live a quiet life away from the glare of publicity, but she has to keep seeking it out. Thus, her narcissism decides that it needs to gain fuel as a consequence of significant public exposure, and also to manage the facade of this is an idyllic marriage. It's possibly the case that there was also an issue of control, because a day prior, this one's wife had put out the pumpkin patch performance video, and for that she attracted significant criticism with regard to the picture of her and Harry stood holding hands but looking completely distant as a couple. The suggestion, therefore, that there was trouble in paradise threatened her innate need for control and resulted in what are known as her clapbacks. Accordingly, in order to nullify the threat to control posed by the criticism of her pumpkin patch performance holding hands picture, her narcissism drove her to attend the baseball with Harry to say, look, here we are, doing coupley things. It's a wonderful evening together. Accordingly, her narcissism was focused on this nullification of threat to control, the drawing of fuel and the management of that facade as a residual benefit. It didn't think, what will be the consequences of going to the baseball, given the fact that you're an unpopular couple? It didn't think, what would be the consequences of turning up wearing LA Dodgers caps? What would be the consequence of where you're sitting in the stadium? No. All it wanted her to do was make sure that she turned up and was seen, because that would attain the prime aims. But when what happened? Along came our dear friend collateral consequences, for she and Harry were booed, and then they ended up getting battered. You know that they were booed, as in a video of yesterday I played you the footage, and I suggested that there were likely to be consequences because of the risk of amplification, and lo and behold, what I predicted came to pass, because TMZ reported Prince Harry seemed defeated Tuesday night as he and his wife, this one's wife, were booed as their mugs popped up on the Jumbotron during Game 4 of the World Series. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex had expressions that harkened back to the infamous Coldplay couple as they cringed as the jeering started. Harry eventually forced a smile, but it was clearly an uncomfortable moment. The good news, they had great seats at field level. Harry dressed sharp in a black blazer over a white t-shirt and dark pants, while this one's wife donned dark pants with an oversized white button-up. Of course, they both repped Dodger blue with matching baseball caps. Their support didn't help, though. Dodgers lost 6-2 to the Toronto Blue Jays. Well, there we are. Accordingly, their attendance was recorded, but it was all about the booze. And that wasn't the only news outlet that recorded the fact that they were booed. Accordingly, the pursuit of the prime aims had the collateral consequence that the negative press demonstrated that they were booed. There was amplification of that somewhat hostile reaction to their attendance. Yes, she's being written about, but it's challenge fuel, and it damages her facade because she believes that she ought to be America's sweetheart or the world's saint. But it doesn't just end there. They were booed, and that was amplified by coverage in the press. But it got worse for them, because they then received a battering, as reported in the Daily Mail. Prince Harry and this one's wife have left Dodgers fans far from impressed after being handed the best seats in the house for a front row date night at Game 4 of the World Series. In a surprising decision quickly noticed by fans, Harry and this one's wife were given front row seats worth tens of thousands of dollars, while local legends Magic Johnson and Sandy Koufax were relegated to the second row. Johnson is a part owner of the team, while Koufax is a 4-time World Series winner and Hall of Fame pitcher. But it was Harry and this one's wife who were instead given the royal treatment. On social media, one fan wrote, "Prince Harry and his wife sitting in front of Sandy Koufax? Unfucking real." Another added, "Why the hell are they in front of Sandy?" While a third noted, "They need to leave." Magic Johnson is royalty, another noted of the NBA legend who has become a billionaire and part owner of both the Lakers, Dodgers and Washington Commanders in the years since he retired from his own professional basketball career. Accordingly, they get booed, and that's amplified, and then the fact that they're sat in front of two legends of the game, Magic Johnson and Sandy Koufax, results in many people criticising them further. They end up getting a battering across social media and in certain sections of the mainstream media also. Thus, this is an excellent example, once again, of the way that this one's wife's narcissism functions. It essentially states, you need to nullify a threat to control, you need to go and get some fuel, and you need to manage the facade. Go to the baseball. So off she goes. She thinks it's a lovely thing to do. We'll show that we're a loving couple, and I will be seen, and I fuck the camera, etc., etc. And then what happens? Because she is only focused on the pursuit of the prime aims in the moment, the collateral consequences arrive. They are booed. There is amplification of that booing across social media and the press, and they're criticised for sitting in front of Magic Johnson and Sandy Koufax, which again is amplified across social media and the press. Accordingly, while she gets what she needs, it then results in further threats to her need for control as a consequence of these criticisms and damage to her facade as her unpopularity increases. She, of course, doesn't recognise this. Her narcissism will not allow her to see it, so she'll keep on making these mistakes. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.